and welcome back to your Irregular Latvian kitchen. I am talking to you from Scotland, more precisely from Anna's kitchen. And here's Anna. You remember her from the fortune-telling video.
Yeah, almost like an
little
eagle.
too long snout.
So, today is my birthday! And it's also Corona season. So while the original plan was to go and shake our bodies in the club, hence the shiny jackets, it's not gonna happen. So instead, we're gonna teach you some Latvian desserts today. So the first one that we're gonna talk about today is maizes zupa. Maizes zupa, also known as bigucis in Kurzeme, I believe. Kurzeme is a region of Latvia. The English translation is bread soup. I know what you're thinking, bread soup. A dessert? Trust me, you're not the first foreigner to be surprised by this combination. But yes, bread soup is a traditional Latvian dessert. If you go to Latvia, this will be one of the first things that people offer you to try. Today you will learn how to make it. You will need rye bread. Rye bread. I'm sure you know what it is, given that it's the most popular bread in Latvia, but in case you don't know, it is super dark bread made from rye. 500 grams of that. Then you will need dry fruit. I'm using apricots and raisins, sultanas, to make my soup, but you know, you can also use whatever dried fruit you have around the house. 150 grams of brown sugar, cranberries, also depending on your taste, and a small dash of cinnamon. Also, you will need 700 milliliters, that much, cups of water to make it all mix together, and to top it off you will need whipped cream. So I will be using double cream that I will whip with my hand because Anna doesn't have a blender. Yeah, and that's it. It should take me approximately 40 minutes to make this wonder, but we'll see how that goes. Step number 1. Cut up the bread into slices and put it in your oven to roast for about 10 to 15 minutes from each side. I guess it's not gonna take 40 minutes. Why did you lie to me? It seems that Latvians cannot count, and by 40 minutes they actually mean more than an hour. So expect this recipe to take somewhere between 1 and 2 hours. So start by cutting up the bread. So if you are ever wondering where to find bread, if you have a Russian store in your area, I'm sure that they will have it. As you see, this is not Latvian, this is written in Russian. Latvian and Russian bread is not the same, but it will do the trick. So now we will cut some apricots. We're cutting ours into 4 pieces because we don't want to have big chunks of apricots in our bread soup, but it's up to you how you want to cut yours. So while we're waiting for the bread to roast, there is also an alternative option of making bread soup, which is to make it from a packet. In Latvia there are at least one, but maybe there are more companies that sell pre-made bread soup mix. And while I am gonna go full Latvian and try to do it from scratch, I have 2 such packets in my possession, because I don't trust myself in the kitchen. So assuming that this will go right, I propose this to you. If you would like to try to make bread soup on your own from your rye bread, that would be great, and I would love to know how you get along. However, if you don't have access to rye bread, and if you would like to have my bread soup packet, share this video and write in the comments "Es gribu maizes zupas maisījumu," which means I want the bread soup mix. And also why you want the maizes zupas maisījums, and then Anna and I will choose the best answer and contact you in order to arrange shipping. And if you are wondering what it looks like, here's what it looks like. We are using, not sponsored, Dobeles brand. So yes, I hope you try to make it as well. Once your bread is roasted, you take it out and put it in a pot or some kind of heat-resistant bowl. The end of the bread is also valid. And pour 700 milliliters of boiling water over it and let it soak for around 30 minutes. Now the question is, how many milliliters are there in 1 pint? 700 milliliters of hot water. And now we have to wait for half an hour to let that soak in. I would recommend taking a kitchen towel, covering it so that none of the moisture goes out. When preparing for this video, I wanted to know the history of the bread soup, so I asked some of my fellow Latvians online, do they happen to know any of it, because the Latvian Google seems to be empty on this subject. The most common response, which I take now as true and pass on to you, is that Latvian farmers, which at some point in time were pretty much all Latvians, invented this soup in order to make use of some leftover bread and whatever else they had in the house. Which means that my recipe, which is not 100% going by the recipe of what you can find online, is on point because it uses everything that I have in the house. Well, that Anna has in the house. So yeah, last time I made bread soup, I was on exchange in Canada. And in our exchange, we had to make the food from our country in order to introduce it to other people who were also there. Didn't really go so well, mostly because of how my bread soup looked. I remember some people referring to it as poop. So after nobody really wanted to try my dessert, I ended up going home and eating all of it on my own. Even my host family were not really into... They tried it, but yeah, not everybody likes it. Step number 4. Once your bread is soaked, take a sieve and run your bread through the sieve along with the liquid just to make it a little bit less chunky. But not chunky. If you have, use a bigger kind of sieve with bigger holes, because little pieces of rye bread can really add an extra nice taste to this dessert. So I will be using this sieve. Hopefully it will work with the holes that are not too tiny. It doesn't really want to go through the sieve, but you have to make it. Then, once that's done, step number 5, take your mixture and put it in a pot and add sugar and a dash of cinnamon along with your dried fruits and let it simmer for around 4 to 5 minutes, not too long. Change of plans. Instead of using raw cranberries in order to make our bread soup, we decided to use leftover boiled skins from the Debesmanna. So if you happen to do both at the same time, this is also an option for you. So first we will add the sugar, around 150 grams, they said. I will not use all of it, I'll see how it tastes first. Our cooked cranberries. Apricots. And finally, because Anna hates raisins, just a couple of raisins. And add a dash of cinnamon. Okay, and then let it boil for around 5 minutes so that the fruits can also participate in the taste. Then take it off the heat, let it cool, and serve with whipped cream. And then enjoy your meal, or labo appetiti! So, this is the final result of our bread soup. As you can see, I think it turned out pretty great. So, now the time has come to try our great bread soup, and because it's my birthday, we will do so with alcohol, which is traditional Latvian alcohol, Riga Black Balsam. For those who don't know, this is what all the tourists get when they come to Latvia. It is a dark liquor.
A lot of people say that it tastes like medicine.
Because it originally was medicine and sold in pharmacies. And as far as I know, it was created by a German man, but it was created in Riga, and so the tradition stuck, and now it has become one of the most recognizable things that you can buy in Latvia. So,
now I don't particularly like the original taste of balsams, do you?
I like it, yeah.
However, there are variations, and this particular one is blackcurrant, which I think tastes absolutely amazing.
And it will go good with our bread soup. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yum! And here is our bread soup. So, Anna, who usually does not like this dessert, what do you think of my creation?
I think the last time that I had bread soup was probably when I was 10 years old, maybe. And I can imagine why as a child you wouldn't like this, because you like sweet things, you like sweet dessert. It's actually not as bad as I remember it. I wouldn't necessarily choose this as my dessert when I go to a restaurant. However, well done.
Thank you. I would choose it as a dessert when you go to a restaurant. It's for the people who don't really like sweet things. I mean, if you add a lot of sugar, you can make it sweet, but it's not supposed to be super, super sweet, because the bread, first, it's very filling, like all Latvian food, and the bread also gives it kind of like a bitter taste, like a bitter back taste.
Not too much though.
Yes, but a bitterer than a traditional dessert. Yeah. So since we are people who don't really like extra sweet things, it is perfect. If you want to try to make yours, go right ahead and share please with me how it went on for you. So if you want to have the best industrial bread soup experience, comment down below what did I say? Gribu maizes zupas maisījumu, and share this video also please. And then I'll choose a winner and send it to you. Happy bread souping, and see you soon maybe.
Cheers.
Cheers!